Introducing a new podcast. Karen Hunter is awesome.
If you like me on SiriusXM Urban View Channel 126, you're gonna love me. And Karen Hunter is awesome. Hey, this is Karen Hunter, host of the Karen Hunter Show on SiriusXM's Urban View. Karen Hunter is awesome is an actual podcast to bring heat and energy and knowledge and power. A 1-2 punch that I don't think you get anyplace else. Tell the truth. So check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast. You will not be disappointed.
Karen Hunter is awesome. A new podcast from Karen Hunter.
So I did spend a lot of time over the holiday planning and plotting. That is my happy space, if I'm being honest. And South Carolina, Charleston to be exact, District 1 to be exact, is something that is on my to-do list in terms of seeing something different happen there. Nancy Mace should not hold that seat. She is an absolute boob, and I think that she won her primary with 28,000 votes. I did the math. I know that there are 30,000 people in Charleston and District 1 that would like to have different representation. So Party of Lincoln, again, you know, I've had so many people call me like, you work for the Democrats. I was one of the few people that got not a dime from the Kamala Harris campaign, not a dime. One of the few people, because we don't do this for the money or for Democrats. I could give a damn about a Democrat or a Republican for that matter. I care about people. So what I'd like to do, and I'm putting this out early, is run somebody in Nancy Mace's primary who's a Republican. Party of Lincoln in full effect. This is a race that can be won. Georgia, Marjorie Taylor Greene ran unopposed in her primary. We need to run somebody in that district as a Republican. This is the kind of stuff that I've been thinking about, and I've been thinking about for 10 years. Been thinking about for a long time. Got cussed out the first time in 2015 when I was like, this is what we should do. Y'all like, nah, I could never register as a Republican. Y'all ready now? Let's go. Let's go. These things can happen. And I feel like once we do that, we can start to see what power looks like and have some semblance of like community and how we can really move differently and not be at the mercy of this nonsense. This is some nonsense. We're in some BS right now. But we're not going to be here forever. You know, the one thing for sure is change. And the one thing for sure is these people that you're on earth with right now, 100 years from now, none of us will be here. There'll be a whole new crew of people. So how do we throw ourselves into the future, and how do we make sure that future includes some sanity? Well, the work starts today. So I'm here for it. Sleeves rolled up. In the meantime, let's put out the trash. Let's hold people accountable. First things first, the Crypt Keeper. They called him the architect of the Bill Clinton campaign, and then he was with Obama. James Carville, it's time for you to sit down. And I'm glad that you admitted that you failed. Now, I don't want to hear from you anymore. I think, cable news could do whatever they want. No one's watching. But you, sir, are an abomination that I can't even express, and an arrogant one at that. That you thought that you knew what was going on, and we were trying to tell you, but no longer. You don't represent us. But he did say this. I'm going to give him credit for telling the damn truth. But it's the truth we already knew. We knew that after Hillary lost. We knew that Hillary probably... Anyway, I'm going to say less about that. But play the James Carville clip, Smiz.
I'd say, well, first of all, I totally agree with that person. It's very depressing. But if you're doing political strategy, you know, if you have an airplane crash, you got to go back and find out what went wrong. You don't say, well, let's just forget about it and move on. No, was the flap set in the right setting, or, you know, was there something that the pilot didn't pay attention to? I don't know, but it is sort of depressing. But, you know, Michael, there's a simple basic rule of politics is voters want an election about them. They don't want an election about you or your opponent. And for too much, we lost that. I lost it myself. We made it about Trump, and we didn't make it about voters. And that's all. It's never a good idea. And how could I, at 80 years old, been doing this for 50 years, lapse into that level of stupidity? You know, I got to ask myself. But I think we did. And you know, let's learn from this. It's a disaster. I agree. It's depressing, but to have an event like this and not learn from it, I think is the biggest mistake we can make.
Yes. The biggest mistake is at 80, your role should not be strategizing at that point. I mean, I'm not an ageist because I'm planning on being 80. But 80-year-old Karen, actually 60-year-old Karen is sitting back. I'm sitting back and I'm here for if you need some of the wisdom, but the world has changed. You're 80 and you don't know what's going on. You're out of touch. And actually, a lot of Congress is out of touch because they're in this circle of themselves, right? And they eat together, they work out together. They're in Washington. There's this thing, they talk to each other, and it's a circle jerk of the same ideology. And they sit on a perch like, you're not in them streets. You're just not. And the fact that you say the things you say with such authority is disgusting. There is so much that I don't know at my big age that I am so grateful that I'm surrounded by young people who don't know what I know, but they know stuff I don't know. And I respect that. I'm learning every day from them. It's why I taught for 22 years at Hunter College. Every semester was a new opportunity for me to learn what's coming, what's next. It's why it gives me a superpower. And anybody of a certain age, these young folk, they're stupid. No, they're not. They know stuff you don't know, but you know stuff that they don't know. And the mutual respect will allow them to absorb some of your wisdom. We have to build these bridges to make sure that we are not blindsided. We got to see what's coming. Y'all had your heads up each other's asses. And here we are. Anybody, if you just asked anybody here at Urban View, we would have told you the wrong strategy. But here we are, Monday morning, quarterbacking. Not anymore. We're going to create the world we want to live in. Let's start state by state, city by city, county by county, district by district. Where can we get some wins? Let's look at the map and let's go. We may not win the first time, but we're going to keep banging on them. In the very least, Marjorie Taylor Greene going to have to spend some money in her primary, and so will Nancy Mace. You do not run unopposed, or you do not run and think you can get away with getting 20-something thousand votes and you're going to represent the entire first district that includes Charleston and places that my granddaddy built a house in? No, hell no. No.